All right, we are live on the Coach Eli Television Network, YouTube, Facebook, and D Live. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you could all join me here tonight. Everything is rolling smoothly, even on Facebook tonight. I made sure everything was going to work properly. I double and triple checked everything. It is Thursday, August 12th, 2021. If you're watching this live or on the day that it was broadcasted live, if you're watching this during another time, like I always mention at the beginning of each of my shows now, there is a lot of great replay value to all of my streams. I create most, if not all of my streams with evergreen type of content. So if you're watching this stream a week down the road or a month down the road or even a year down the road, more than likely, this will make perfect sense in the time that you're watching it. Now, if you're watching this 50 years from now, things may change, but I don't foresee the modern dating world changing for quite some time. So consider this evergreen content. But before we get to all of that, let me first of all make sure that the YouTube notification has gone out, and it looks like it absolutely has. Let me also check out the back end of YouTube and make sure it is rolling smoothly. And it absolutely is. Facebook on the back end is rolling very well tonight, and so is the live. Let me just briefly check out the front end of Facebook and the live. We are at the top of the news feed of Facebook, and there's one person on Facebook already. If you're out there, please comment in the comment section. And I will periodically be checking in on the Facebook side and the live side, every 10 minutes or so. Sometimes a little bit longer. So if you ask a question or make a comment, please stick around if you can so I can respond to you. If not, I'll get back to you after the show ends. And yeah. Oh, did I forget to check D Live? I forgot to check D Live. Live. Let's see. Here we go. D Live. All right, and D Live is rolling very well. All right. So this is quite an interesting topic, and I've already got the ladies of the house in tonight. Queen Helen Casey's in the house. But first, the first person that showed up was actually Information Man Show. Peace and respect. How you doing, my local Northern California brother from the Sacramento area, brother? I got to come out and visit you sometime. Maybe I'll be visiting the Sacramento area soon. I like going hiking in the foothills of the Sacramento area near the actually by the American River. They have some great trails out there. In the Auburn area, there are also some great trails. The thing is, a lot of those trails in Auburn have a lot of rattlesnakes. It gets very hot out there. And the only places I've ever seen, or the only place I've ever seen rattlesnakes is in Auburn/Folsom area in the foothills of the Sacramento area, because it gets very hot. I've never seen a rattlesnake here in the San Francisco Bay Area on a hiking trail. Now, I've seen what do you call those things? Gopher snakes, and I guess garter snakes, right? But I've never seen a rattlesnake, because here in the Bay Area, because we have the SF Bay and the Pacific Ocean, and the crosswinds between the SF Bay and the Pacific Ocean keep us a little bit cooler. In many areas, it's not hot enough for the rattlesnakes to come out and sunbathe on the trail, but hey, you just never know, so you always have to be on guard. But yeah, bro, maybe I'll come check you out sometime, man. It would be great. Maybe we can go to lunch. Lunch would be on me. Queen Helen Case says the Queen is here. Welcome, Queen. Holly, hopefully blessed is here. Glad you could make it, Holly. Holly, moderator and channel member. Thank you for continuing to be a channel member. And thank you for continuing to communicate behind the scenes, Holly. I greatly appreciate it. I know you really care, just like Queen and other people, and I appreciate you for that. She says, hi, Eli. Hello, Queen. Holly, hopeful and blessed. Hello to Information Man Show. Information Man Show says, hello, Holly. Queen, hello there. Hello, Information Man. Hello, Holly. Yeah, everyone's saying hello. All right, it's all good. It's getting redundant. Eli, get to the point. Get down to business. Let's get down to business. I don't got no time to mess around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. It's too soon to swear in the beginning of the stream. I don't want to get demonetized. By the way, again, like I said yesterday, my stream was demonetized. I submitted it for manual review, and literally 2 hours after I submitted it, YouTube corrected it and made it fully monetizable green. So that just goes to show how things go. Don't get upset, folks, if you're a monetized YouTube channel and your streams get demonetized. Submit them for manual review, and they'll be overturned. And don't get upset that you may lose some monetized playbacks while you're live. If you create your stream with great replay value, people will watch the replay, and you'll make ad revenue once YouTube manually reviews your advertiser-friendly video that was mistakenly demonetized, and then you'll start making some money doing that. And that's another thing. I'm probably going to do a stream on this at some point to really try and help some other YouTubers out here that create live streams with no replay value, right? You know, and if you don't create your live streams like I do with evergreen type of content, it's going to make no sense for people to watch them on the replay. So I'll probably end up doing a stream on that at some point in the future. All right, so let's check out Facebook real quick. That one person that was there is gone. Well, hey, it's all good. Nothing happening over on D Live. Back over to YouTube. And the topic of this show is, can women actually respect men that make less money than they do? One more time. Can women actually respect men that make less money than they do? Well, I was thinking about how to start off this show, because I do want to share one or two conversations with some women I had today while I was multitasking to prepare for this show. You know, like I said, I use Google Voice, and I'm able to text from my laptop. So it's real easy to send a pretty detailed response very quickly through my computer to a woman's phone via text, because I use Google Voice. And yeah, I had a really interesting conversation with a woman that I am probably not going to talk with anymore. I haven't eliminated her yet, but I'm pretty much going to. And I want to share this story to you guys, because you have to look at this woman's behavior. You have to look at how she approaches you, or how she approached me. You know, sometimes, guys, women are going to come out of the gate and show you a lot of attention and show a lot of interest and try to get you to meet them right away. This is what happened with this woman here. Whenever a woman approaches me in that way, the shotgun approach, let's just meet for coffee or something, okay, there's something wrong with that. And so, you know, I'm going to show you I'm not show you, but I'm going to read the conversation to you here in a little bit. But first, let me talk about, can women actually respect men that make less money than they do? I'm going to do my monologue here and share my thoughts about that. Then I'm going to share one or two text conversations with these women. Then I'm going to take a break, and I have a total of 3 Reddit postings tonight. One of them, I actually got the idea from another channel I follow that I respect called SSM, which is short for Strong Successful Male. And this guy actually read this Reddit article and did his commentary on it. And while I respect his work, while I respect Strong Successful Male's work, and he does have like 120 plus thousand subscribers, way more than my 4K. He's a good guy, and I like what he does, but I have so much more to add to what he says. And while he doesn't come off as jaded as many of the other male content creators that are trying to help guys understand modern day female nature and what you're up against nowadays, I still think he's slightly a little bit jaded. I'm not jaded one bit. In the past, I have been. I've worked through it. I've become stronger. and now I'm more focused on finding what I really want and quickly eliminating what I don't want, and not getting upset and trying to, putting a lot of effort into convincing a woman to be with me or go on a date with me, you know, just because, she's making it difficult, or she says, I'm not sure, right? So, but let me check the chat here. I saw some comments in the chat. Holly Hopeful and Bless says, Queen Helen Casey, first of all, says, thank goodness. I don't want to be monetized because they are a bunch of, well, that's not true, Queen. It's a computer. The computer has no emotions. It doesn't understand context, right? And so sometimes it just, has to assume certain things. And that's why they have the manual review process, which has become a lot quicker now, even for smaller channels. So, but yeah, I appreciate your opinion, Queen. Holly Hopeful and Bless says, I don't either, Queen. YouTube is making more than creators anymore with the ads placed strategically, whether or not you're monetized. Yeah, I'm not going to complain, because here's the thing. For me to be able to broadcast at 1080p, 60 frames per second, at 30 megabits per second for an unlimited amount of time, it costs them a lot of money to host this. And between the internet bandwidth and the storage server space, it costs them a lot of money. And channels that are not displaying ads are basically using the service for free, costing Google and YouTube money, and Google and YouTube are losing money doing that. Ladies, I understand where you're coming from, but you have to understand this is a business, right? And if they didn't do what they're doing, and if they hadn't done everything that they continued to do up to this point, this platform would not exist. So I get where you're coming from, but this is and with all due respect, this is what a lot of people just don't understand about social media companies. It costs a lot of money to run them with the incredible amount of internet bandwidth that's necessary and storage space. And that's not free. But people just don't get that. That's okay. It is what it is. So, can women actually respect men that make less money than they do? The real quick, short answer is no. Absolutely not. I say that wholeheartedly with the utmost respect to men and women. I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm not here to talk smack. I'm not here to come off as angry, bitter, or jaded. The answer is absolutely not. And despite the fact that I always mention this, it all boils down to this. Women are liberated nowadays. Women have been liberated for the past 55 years. They're independent. Okay. They have equal rights. They have equal pay for equal work, the right to vote, the right to bear arms, yada, yada, yada. I don't have to go down that spiel again. Despite the fact that women are completely equal and can now, in the modern world, do pretty much everything, or at least are allowed to do just about anything that once only men were able to do. But does that mean women want to do all those things? Okay, there are some things that women still don't want to do for a career, for example, even though they're perfectly capable if they want to be, or if they work to be capable or learn the trade or whatever, right? There are still certain things women don't want to do, right? And this is the thing that men and women don't seem to understand nowadays. It took me a while to realize this. Just because women are liberated nowadays doesn't mean that they've biologically changed at all. Men and women have not biologically changed one bit. What's going on in the modern world is it's an artificial type of thing, where it's great that women have equal rights and they're working and they're independent, but that has changed the way women behave in relationships in an artificial way. How? It's made them, like I always say, at times come off a little more masculine than feminine. And when a woman comes off more masculine than feminine, and she's trying to get to know a masculine guy like me, that's going to completely turn me off. Now, I don't have a problem if a woman exudes a little masculine energy because her job entails it or her job requires it to be a part of her job. Sometimes, women are in a job where they have to hire and fire people and do things that, require them to exude more masculine energy than feminine energy. But if they can't balance that when they come home to their man, or when they're, looking to get to know a guy through online dating or in the real world, if they can't balance that out and act more feminine than masculine, it's just not going to work for me. So with that being said, in the modern world where women say, okay, we want everything to be equal, everything is equal between a man and a woman. And you've heard even some women say, hey, what's the problem if I, as the woman, want to be the breadwinner and make more money than my husband, or make all the money, be the provider, and then my husband is the homekeeper or the housewife or the house husband and take care of the kids, right? Well, in essence, if that's what you want to do, that's on you. There's really nothing wrong with doing whatever you want to do, but how does that affect the dynamics of the relationship? How does that affect the sexual polarity of the relationship? How does that affect the respect between the man and the woman? Holly Hopeful and Blessed says, creators are putting in their own ads so they can make some money. Well, they can do that. That's called a sponsorship, Holly. And all you have to do is declare that in your video, just like I used to do. And when I get a new sponsor, which I'm actually in the works of that, then I'll start declaring that and doing that. But yeah, that's why YouTube allows you to do that, as long as you declare it. No problem. Example purposes in the house. Hello, Coach. Hello, Example Purposes. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Holly Hopeful and Blessed says, so here's a question for you. Like, do you feel like a confident woman makes her less seem like she is more male than female? Let me read that again. Eli, do you feel like a confident woman makes her less seem like she is more male than female? So I think what you're trying to say, does a confident woman make her come off or appear more masculine than feminine? Is that what you're asking, Holly? Example Purposes says, you see house husbands, they are pushing strollers. Right. And the wife is the breadwinner, going to work, head of the household, right? And that's exuding more masculine energy than feminine energy. Nothing wrong if they want to do that, but you have to understand that she's the provider and he's the caretaker. And it's always been known throughout the history of time, before women were liberated, that the one staying at home, which typically, which was the lady, the wife back then, because women weren't working back then, they didn't have the same rights. She was the caretaker, the nurturer, and then the husband would go out and hunt and bring back the food, right? Or go to work and make the money, right? So Holly says yes. Well, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong, Holly, with a woman being confident and being secure. But you also have to understand women are emotional beings, and they're going to naturally be insecure all the time, at least a little bit, than men. Feminine nature, female nature, is emotion, and it's thinking about things emotionally first, based on how women are feeling in the present moment. That is the natural biological essence of a woman. A woman, when she's truly a woman, in her biological natural essence, is going to respond to everything emotionally based on how she's feeling in the present moment. When she's exuding confidence and she's exuding, being forward and in your face kind of thing, right? That's more masculine energy. Is that a bad thing? No, as long as she only does that about 20 to 30% of the time. Okay? I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I also learned this from Coach Corey Wayne. Both a man and a woman need to be in their own natural essence of being masculine and feminine 70 to 80% of the time. The other 20 to 30% of the time, a woman can be a little more masculine than feminine, and a man can be a little more feminine than masculine. Nothing wrong with a man being a little more, feminine at times with his energy, and a woman being a little more masculine at times with her energy. But if there's any more opposite energy than 20 to 30%, let's say it's 50-50, right? The sexual polarity is off, right? And then the man feels like he's dealing with a woman that's acting like a man or thinks she has a penis. And for the woman, if she perceives the man to be more feminine than her, she's going to perceive him to be weaker than her, and she's not going to respect him. Holly bless. I already said that. She said, yes. Sloopy, how you doing? Hi, hey, coach, it's me. I'm still hiking. How are you, sir? I'm listening. Keep preaching, brother. Well, I'm not really preaching, bro, but I'm just, sharing my thoughts on these topics here. It's very, very important. So, in my opinion, it should be a fact, even if a woman says that she's okay making more money than the guy. Let's say the woman makes $100,000 per year and the man makes $50,000 per year. Let's say she's okay to date that guy. It's always going to be in the back of her mind that she's more successful than he is. And women have always looked up to men throughout the history of time, back in the traditional days, and even now in the days of the modern world. Women are still the same when it comes to what they look for in a man. They look for a man that's more successful than they are. Now, it's all about equality. And I don't have a problem with a woman making whatever she wants to make, right? But when it comes to relationship dynamics, if a woman perceives herself to be better than the man financially and in other ways, right? Okay? Or is actually making more money or better than the man, stronger than the man in any way, it's going to turn her off, because women biologically have always looked up to a man for the man's strength, the man's resources, his ability to provide, right? His ability to protect her and the family if there's any danger, etc. That's what women have always looked up to a man for, right? And the same still applies nowadays. But nowadays, women are very hypocritical because they want to bake their cake and then eat it too. They want to make their bed and then immediately lie back on the bed again, right? Right? And they say, "What's wrong with me being the provider, making more money? What's wrong with me, doing this?" And then you do things that women used to do. Okay, so let's say the woman gets into a relationship with a man like that, and initially says, "What's wrong with that? It's okay. Hey, this is the modern world, right?" Okay. When they get into that relationship or they get married in that way, it never works out. I've never seen it work out. My last two girlfriends, okay, were the breadwinners in their households, and they ended up divorcing their husbands, and they had half their stuff taken because they were the breadwinners. Because they were stronger than the man. Emotionally, they were stronger. They made more money than the man. They were the provider. And the men that they were with were complacent, were lazy, weren't doing things to better themselves, right? They were just being like the house husband, right? Or they worked another job that, didn't pay nearly as much. So again, it's a very hypocritical thing because, again, in my opinion, it should be a fact. Women look up to a man for his strength. They look up to a man to be successful. And again, no matter what a modern woman says, hey, it isn't okay for me to make more money than a man. Well, sure it is, right? But would you end up respecting a man that you were dating that made half of what you make? Even if everything else was perfect, good-looking guy, very respectful, very fun to be around, great lover, dresses well, smells nice, right? Would you be able to respect that man? If he's lacking in one thing that you're better than him, right? So this is where the struggle, the power struggle is, women, they say they want equality, but the truth of the matter is they don't respond to equality when it comes to relationships. They respond to a man having more resources and being better off than the woman so she can look up to him, right? That's what happens. I'm being honest. And when I get to the first Reddit posting, you folks are going to see what I'm talking about, because like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I watched another channel called Strong Successful Male, and he read this Reddit posting. And this Reddit posting is about a 32-year-old man who overheard his girlfriend, a 32-year-old female, tell her sister, 27-year-old female, that she is dating down being with this guy because she makes more money than him, and she is surprised that he doesn't have roommates. This guy makes $135,000 a year, and she makes $205,000. Now think about it this way: $135,000 is one hell of a salary, right? She just happens to make more, right? And that's still not good enough. Wait until you hear this story, okay? I'm going to read that, go over that right when I come back from the break. I still have a few more things to talk about before I take my first break. But then after that, I have a couple other Reddit forums I'm going to go over from the men's rights subreddit. This is the topic posed. This is because nearly all women will not date men who don't make more money than them. The gender wage gap is driven by the fact that men need to make more so a woman will date them, because women won't respect a man otherwise. No matter what they say, no matter how much they say they want to make more, or they want equal rights, or whatever, right? That's not what they respond to in a relationship. Women cannot respect a man that they perceive to be less or weaker than them. That's just the bottom line when it comes to relationships. That's the difference between a woman just working and not dating and a woman that wants a relationship. It is also driven by the fact that there are more men in this world. It's very close. It's like 52% men to 48% women, I believe, the last time I checked. So, but yeah, there are more men than women. There are. So we're going to get to that. Then the last posting is from the subreddit Ask Reddit. Do men/women still care if they are dating and the woman makes more money than the man? Like I just said a few minutes ago during my monologue, yes. Yes. No matter what they say, the answer is yes. If you are someone who doesn't mind, is there a certain pay range difference that would start to make it uncomfortable for you? Here's the thing. The last posting was talking about the gender wage gap. And here's the thing. I've talked about this before in the past, but it's been a while, okay? There is no gender pay gap, no matter what any woman out there says, okay? And if a man says there's a gender pay gap, then he's a white knight, and he needs to be, I won't say it, I'll get demonetized, or maybe shut down. Figure out what I want to say there to the white knight that wants to white knight for a woman that thinks there's still, or for women that still thinks there's a gender pay gap. There are women making good money, like this woman in the first Reddit posting I'm going to go over during the first part of the second segment. Makes $205K a year. Here's the thing. Just because women have equal opportunities doesn't mean they qualify for all those opportunities. Women still have to qualify for those same opportunities that once only men had, in the same ways that men qualify for them. We can't make special exceptions for women and make it easier and have less things to qualify for the same job when compared to a man just because they're a woman. Then it wouldn't make it fair to the man, right? And if you're looking at equality, it has to be equal. Maybe some jobs were more so meant for men and some were more so meant for women, right? No problem if a man wants to do a job that's known as a job more so done by women, or a woman wants to do a job that's more so done by a man. But understand, you still have to qualify for it in the same ways as the opposite sex that typically would do that job would have to qualify for it, right? So when I hear this gender gap BS, it's BS. If you're qualified for the job, whether you're a man or a woman, you will get the job and get paid exactly the same whether you're a man or a woman. Okay? If you're a woman that qualifies for a job, let's say you're going toe-to-toe with a man for the same job, starting salary is $100,000 a year. If you beat out the man for that job because you're more qualified than him, you'll get the starting salary of $100K. They're not going to say, okay, women, your starting salary is $75K and men, yours is $100K. No, they don't do that. That's against the law. That's part of your rights. That's discrimination. Excuse me, I've got an itch. That's an itch for good luck. So, anyway. Let me check out the chat here real quick. Are you mad those women think they have? All right. Queen, you know what I've been doing here lately, and I just did it again. Please watch the chat closely, Queen, and Holly, I'd appreciate that. All right, we are at 31 minutes. Let me read a texting conversation from a woman that started over on Match.com. And this is a woman, it somewhat ties into the topic because she ended up talking about work a lot. And you're gonna see this, right? This is a woman that is not in a good position to date, in my opinion. So this woman is 47 years old. She looks fairly cute. 5'5", athletic fit. She looks cute. She is white and she's separated, meaning that she's separated, going to go through a divorce. That's a red flag right there. Well, Sloopy, I don't know who you are. I don't moderate stock accounts or anything like that. I'd have to talk with you and see your face and know your real name. I don't moderate anyone that's a stock account, brother. I'm not like other channels that will moderate everyone. It's not the way it works over here. But anyway, thank you for putting it out there. So this is how the conversation, when I sent her my standard message, and she just got back to me and wrote this. This was her first response. Whoops. We've got a little glitch here for a second, folks. Give me a second. Why is that happening? Give me a second. Let me see if I can fix this. All right, there we go. Sometimes that happens for some reason. I don't know why, but we're back to being smooth again. She wrote back and said, hey, do you want to get coffee? That's how you respond to a guy that says, I'm interested in getting to know you, blah, blah, blah. This woman didn't even use her real name. She called herself like some healthy something name. Healthy, I'm not going to read the exact name because you guys will hunt her down. Like healthy woman, blah, 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 with a bunch of numbers. But it wasn't even woman, it was a different word. I just don't want to give the exact and have the trolls go after her. Right? Hunt her down on Match.com. I wrote back and I said, hello, ma'am. Thank you for getting back to me. I don't even know your name yet, and you'd like to already meet for coffee? Ma'am, I don't even know your name. I sent you my standard opening message, and you want to meet for coffee? Just wait, it gets more interesting. She gets back to my name is, and it starts with a T. Okay, tell me everything about you, ... And then she goes, I'm not looking for a long-term pen pal. This woman is separated, 47 years old. She's fairly cute, right? So it seems like to me that she probably hasn't had any nookie, any sex in a while, and she's looking to hook up, is what it sounds like to me. American Dream. Hi, Miss Queen. Hi, Coach Eli. Hi, everyone. Hey, Dream, how you doing? Are you live on the air or are you just here? Sloopy says, you want my phone number? That's not necessary, bro. Listen, dude, I don't deal well with people begging to be moderators, and I get very leery of people doing that. They're trolling. Anyway, you know what, Queen? Keep an eye on the chat. I think you get what's happening, right? I don't allow trolls in my chat. I don't care if there are only 3 or 4 people here, because my streams have great replay value and people can watch them and comment and do other things, right? Trolling is just not allowed here. People that beg for mod wrenches are trolling. American Dream says, I'm just here sitting in the car. My wife's in the grocery store. No, not streaming at all. Okay, bro. Glad you're here to enjoy the show. So yeah, she goes, my name is T. Okay, tell me everything about you. I'm not looking for a long-term pen pal. Would you be open to a phone call and we can get to know everything about each other in a more personable way instead of typing it all out by text? If so, please send me your number and I'll text you to arrange a call. She said, sure, and put out her number. Okay. Now it gets more interesting. Let me get to the texting conversation here. And wait till you hear this. Let me read the chat first real quick. Holly Hopeful and Bless says, well, do you want a woman to meet you right away or do you want to wait? You are confusing me a little, Eli, when you say things contrary to what you have said in other streams. No, I do want to meet a woman right away, Holly. But I at least want to have one phone call before we meet. So what I'm saying, Holly, is this. This is a good process. You don't respond to somebody and say, hey, do you want to meet for coffee? You say, hey, Eli, thanks for the message. It's nice to meet you. You seem like a decent guy. I would love to get to know you. Are you open to meeting up soon and seeing where it goes? Like, you see, Holly, there's a difference. A lot of these women just, in this situation, this woman is throwing it out there saying, let's just meet for coffee. I don't know anything about you. You could be a spammer for all I know, right? American Dream Coach Eli is a legitimate self-help life coach. If you follow his life lessons, you can improve your quality of life and create a better future. I believe this 100%. It's true. Whether you believe it or not, it's true. It's true. So I sent her a text. Hi, ma'am. I'm substituting ma'am for the innocent, right? Or the perceived innocent, right? It's Eli from Match. It is very nice to connect with you off the app. How's your day going? She goes, great. I'm in Seattle, she goes. I go, what are you doing in Seattle? She said, working. What are you doing? And she's like, do you live in a city in the Bay Area, which is the city that was listed on her Match profile that she lives in? I wrote, I thought you lived in the Bay Area. Also, every question you are asking has been answered in my profile. Did you not look at my profile and read it completely, or did you just skim it? She's asking me simple questions. The profile tells you where you live at the top of the profile. And I've got a book on my profile and tons of pictures. And she gets back a bunch of one-liners. Well, people lie, and I'm asking what you are doing today. I know you're a coach. I'm actually a coach too. Where did you get certified? So she sent me 5 texts in a row, line by line by line by line, boom, 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 instead of just one stating the whole thing. This is a woman that's probably talking to a lot of men, and she's trying to get one that'll give her the time of day, maybe for some sex or whatever, right? Or maybe she's seeking validation. Who knows? But you can tell this is really not a healthy way. I can tell like there's something off about this woman. It probably has a lot to do with her being separated and feeling free after being, locked down to a guy that she fell in love with, probably a sexless marriage, etc. Right? Maybe there's abuse. Who knows? Right? I wrote back and I said, before I answer anything else, have you moved to Seattle or are you just working there temporarily? I wrote, I'm a self-proclaimed life coach that will outcoach any certified person, humbly speaking, LOL. Certifications don't mean shit. It is your personal experiences that matter most and how well you are able to deliver your message by communicating with people. I have also been very much into personal development over the past 20 years, and this allowed me to completely create my own business and not resell someone else's products after getting certified by them. So you know what she responds to that with? Time for her to go, says Queen. Exactly. She goes, good for you. How many clients do you have? Ma'am, I don't even know who you are. And you're asking me how many clients I have? You see, she's trying to find out about my business. She's trying to find out how much money I make, how good I am at what I do. She's asking me questions that are right at the top of my profile. I don't feel appreciated here. I don't feel like she took the time to read my profile and get to know me. I feel like I'm just another number in her black book, or that she wants to put in her black book. I wrote back and I said, you seem to be very focused on business. Do you actually want to get to know what I enjoy doing and allow me to get to know what you enjoy doing? Or do you just want to make this all about business? Ladies, the last thing guys care about, to be honest with you, is your career. We're not saying that you shouldn't have one, you shouldn't work. Do what you got to do. But before we're going to respect your career and want to talk about your work, we want to make sure that you're the right fit for us in other ways and that we start dating so it's worthy of our time. American Dream with the $10 super chat. Wow. Hashtag trust, hashtag dating, hashtag relationship, hashtag life coach, hashtag better lifestyle, hashtag confidence, hashtag Coach Eli, hashtag divorce. That's for you, American Dream. I'm going to give you a big round of applause, Dream. Wow, brother. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that, bro. I really do. You're going to force me to start the channel donations. And we're going to start that off at $10. Thank you so much, American Dream, once again for the $10 super chat. Let me go over here to the browser source real quick and light up the donations tag there too before I switch over after the break and I forget to do it. All right, back to full screen. Thank you, brother. So after I wrote that to her, I'm like, you're making this all about business. I want to get to know you, what you enjoy doing for fun. Do you like hiking? Do you like nice dinners? Do you like walks along the beach? Do you like drives down the coast highway? You're talking about business and how many clients I have, and I don't even know who you are. I don't care at this point. I wrote back again a second time. It's because I love you, man, like a brother. I do too, bro. Thank you again, brother. The $10 means a lot, but you just being here in itself means a lot. I wrote, I've been trying to ask if you now live in Seattle permanently or there temporarily, and you seem to be avoiding the question. Please let me know. She was avoiding the question. And then she goes, and I told you I was working in Seattle back on Friday. You never told me that, man. What you told me is that you're in Seattle. You said, I'm in Seattle. I didn't even know what she meant by that. Is this woman on drugs or something, or drunk or something? Or were you mixing me up with some other guy you told this to on Friday, right? I wrote back and I said, you said you are in Seattle and nothing besides that. You didn't mention anything about Friday. Are you currently in Seattle or in the Bay Area? I am sorry, but this conversation is not making a lot of sense. I am very confused by what you are saying. Now, Queen, you tell me. Holly, you tell me. Dream, in the chat, you tell me, right? Would you be confused? Like, don't just look at a cute woman and get all excited and that she wants to meet you and think you're going to get laid. It's not even about that. She could be related to drunk. I'm not going to mention her name. I know. I see what she wrote there. You know how she responded to this? With 4 one-liners instead of one longer message. That's why I don't want a pen pal. So if you want to chat on the phone, great. Or if you want to meet for coffee. See, she's getting a little bit irritated, but not quite yet. I'm seeing how far I can push her. Okay? But I am not much of a texter. Neither am I, ma'am. But I'm getting to know you. And then if you're cool through a few text messages, we can talk by phone. I go, neither do I. Can you please answer a simple question and then we can take it on the phone? Are you currently in Seattle or in the Bay Area? I had to ask her a third time. And then she finally answered, right? Seattle, now coming home tomorrow a.m. So this is what I wrote to her, because I'm not going to meet this woman, but I'm going to see what she does. So I left the door open just to see what she does. I'm not ever meeting this woman, and I suggest you guys never meet a woman like this. I wrote, okay, text me tomorrow when you get home and settled, and we'll talk by phone tomorrow night. I look forward to it. She gets back and says, okay, great. I can bet you by tomorrow, and we're already demonetized. I can tell you that tomorrow she's not even going to remember that I exist. And if she does get back to me, I'll be quite surprised. She's probably moved on to 5 or 10 other guys right now and doing the same thing. And she's probably going to come across 1 or 2 thirsty beta males that see her as a cute woman and kind of feel something's off, but they're going to overlook it just because she's cute and they can't get any action any other way. And that's the wrong way to look at it, because let me tell you, being with a woman like this, number one, she's 47. No problem with the age, but she's 47. She's separated. She's about to go through a divorce. And she's probably just getting away from maybe an abusive marriage, an abusive man, a sexless marriage, right? There could have been verbal and physical abuse, right? And so she's got very little patience. She wants to break free, and she wants to quickly go and find some other guy that's going to replace everything that, you know, she missed out on in her marriage. So that is that. All right. So we are at 47 minutes. I'm going to cue up some royalty-free YouTube music and step away and take a quick break. And when we return, I'm going to get to the first Reddit posting. I am 32 male, overheard my girlfriend, 32 female, tell her sister, 27 female, that she is dating down being with me because she makes more money than me and is surprised that I don't have roommates. I make $135K a year. She makes $205K. Yeah, that's when I heard this story that was shared on the Strong Successful Male channel earlier today. I had to put my own spin on this. I'm like, wow, 135K isn't enough. This guy's in his early 30s. That's good money. Most guys at that age aren't making anywhere near that. And just because she makes $205K, you know, she's not happy with that. She considers it dating down. And she tells her sister that. Wait till you hear this story. It's quite interesting. And then we're going to get to the other two that I mentioned earlier. So let me cue up some royalty-free music. American Dream says, I want that relationship to work out for you, Coach, but if she's trying to play you, I want you to avoid her, especially if she's deceptive. She is. I've got many other women I'm talking to right now that are much better, easier to talk with, and you know, you leave your options open until you settle with the one, until one of them really wants to be with you, and you know she's with you for the right reasons, and then you can stop talking to the rest. Until then, you got to keep your options open. American Dream says, when I see your cute woman, I'm like a petrified. What you're saying, Dream, is when you see a cute woman, you're like a petrified praying mantis getting ready to be attacked by a tarantula. I get goofy and clumsy and awkward. Pretty women make me feel insecure. Well, dude, you're never going to get a woman like that if you feel insecure, bro. You gotta work through that. let's see. A man in a woman's tax bracket, they are considered upper middle class. It has potential to work out. If he moves upward in his career, he should not feel awkward. It's not him, it's her, right? Combined in their early 30s, for them to be making close to $350K, they can live like a prince and a princess. But this is all in her head. That because she makes more than him, right? She's dating down. Even though the guy's making more money in his early 30s than most other guys this woman will encounter. Wait till you see what the guy did. All right. Let's cue up some royalty-free music. And, yeah, Dream says, exactly, Coach. All right, give me a view here. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. All right, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for 6 to 8 minute break, something like that. And we'll get right back to that first Reddit posting when I return. Stick around, we'll be right back. yeah, we're back, we're back, we're back. Yeah. Gotta feel it. Feel it. You feel it? Oh yeah, baby. All right. Yeah. Slow it down a little bit. Slow it down a little bit. Whew. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Yeah. Oh yeah. Ready to rock and roll the second segment. Yes. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on the Coach Eli Television Network, primarily broadcasting live on YouTube at youtube.com/Life Coach Eli, and also simulcasting live on Facebook and D Live. Glad you could all join me here tonight on this Thursday night. If you're watching live on Thursday, August 12th, 2021, American Dream is dancing to the music. He has the notes emojis in the chat there. Lots of love for you, brother. He says, I really do miss hanging out in here with you guys. I love your music. I got used to listening to every song. Come and go as you wish, brother. You can come back more often, bro, and, you know, start to better your life, bro. I really care about you. I really do care about people. And, you know, just some people that really need the help, Dream, they're the ones that are just not open to it, bro. And other people that, you know, perceive us to be happier and in a better place, they like to project. And that's just what happens, brother. So, hey, it is what it is, dude. But thank you for being here, man. Tonight, we're discussing, can women actually respect men that make less money than they do? One more time. Can women actually respect men that make less money than they do? Yeah, it's a very interesting topic. Holly Hopeful and Bless says, I was watching a documentary about killer whales. Did you know that in their social order, the females are the matriarch, which means they even control the males? I just thought that was interesting. That is quite interesting, Holly. It's also quite odd because, you know, the male species has always been the dominant species. Respectfully, that is, right? And I guess, you know, when it comes to killer whales, it's a different story. You don't mess with the chick whale, the chick killer whale, right? I wonder if the chick killer whale can ever has capabilities of attacking the male killer whale, right? Are they actually bigger or the same size as the male killer whale? I don't know. I'm not really into whales. I kind of fear them. So, you know, but anyway. All right. So let's get on over to the browser source, and let's get to this first Reddit posting. This comes from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and I'll read this again. I, 32 male, overheard my girlfriend, 32 female, tell her sister, 27 female, that she is dating down being with me because she makes more money than me and is surprised that I don't have roommates. I make $135K a year. She makes $205. Okay, let's read this. My girlfriend and I have been together for 8 months. So a bit about ourselves. I graduated from a top 10 public university, and I work at a great architecture firm in New York City as a senior project analyst. Because I know people will ask, I make in total $135K a year. My girlfriend works as a software developer. She went to a decent state school and works at a tech company as an engineer. Engineers make good money because, you know, the high tech world is where all the money is at, right? So, wow, I mean, that's pretty damn good salary for a 32-year-old female. That's your salary, bro. Is a great salary too for a 32 male. Okay. So what's the problem? When we go out for dates, in the beginning, I used to pay all the time. Now we do closer to 60-40. Why? Are you realizing that there's something off because of the fact that she makes more money than you? There's something bothering her? When it comes to salary, she specifically asked, I don't like to have that conversation, but hey, I thought if we are going to one day be married, then it is important to know. There's nothing wrong, after a certain time asking what your man makes, as long as you're heading towards living together and getting married. But at the 8-month period, in my opinion, I still think it's a little too soon, especially at your age. Okay. I think you should wait about a year before having that conversation, and then have the conversation. If it's cool, then you move in together for another year. If that works out, then you can get engaged and move forward. Man, you got to take things in baby steps, right? So he goes, I don't like to have that conversation, but hey, I thought if we are going to one day be married, then it is important to know. When I told her, she got a bit shy about sharing hers, but I didn't mind. And my girlfriend prides herself on being a feminist, so I didn't think anything of it. That's the problem, dude. Nothing wrong. All women are a product of feminism, and all women, even the good women out there, are feminists. It sounds like your woman is a radical feminist, right? Women that come out and say I'm a feminist are actually a radical feminist. The women that are just regular feminists as a part of the change to give women these equal opportunities nowadays, they're just regular feminists, but they don't feel the need to come out and project. The women that feel the need to project that they're a feminist, they're radical feminists, right? You didn't think anything of it, bro, but welcome. Welcome to figuring this modern, world of dating, where women have been liberated, and now that's affecting their relationships. I thought she was worried she was going to embarrass me, but I didn't care. This is how things went down. I was in the living room working out, and she was on the phone with her sister. I was doing push-ups and wasn't paying attention, but it went like this. Her sister was going to leave DC to come to NYC. And she was like, oh, don't want to come to NYC? That dating here is a hellhole. This is when I started listening. And she said that she has to date down. She said my name is a sweet guy. So basically she said this dude's name and he's a sweet guy, but he doesn't do that well. He only makes $130K. Well, that's $135K actually, but anyways, close enough. We knew what she was saying. He only makes $130K. I am surprised he wasn't living with roommates. That's a lot of money, ma'am. 135 grand is even a decent amount of money to live where I live in one of the most expensive places on the planet. You don't need a roommate living anywhere with 135 grand. You're making this guy sound like he's poor, like a broke ass loser. So went into other parts and then mentioned this isn't what she envisioned with life. Wow. Wow. If that was me hearing that, I would immediately have gone over there and had her end the call and say, we need to talk. After she got off the phone, I confronted her. Good for you. First of all, she gets angry for me saying that she deserves privacy. No, she's mad because you caught her. If she wanted privacy, she could have gone to her car. She could have gone on a drive. She could have gone elsewhere. She did that right in your place. Or her place or your place, wherever you were at. And I told her that was BS, that she talks about being open, so let's talk. So you're calling her out. You're standing up to her, bro. This is good. We need more guys like this. The thing is, massively summarized, we talked for over 6 hours. That's too long, dude. I'd say half an hour would have been good enough, and I would have just left. And resulting in me leaving for my cousin's apartment. So you were living together, and you left. Good for you, bro. That makes a statement. Long story short, she told me that she loved me, is happy with me. She then says, It's just that if I am going to judge you by social norms that we all know is out there, that I am not doing that well. I got angry about all this. I told her that I am doing great in my field, that her field pays more, but that doesn't make her better than me. You didn't even owe her that, bro. I wouldn't have even said that. If she can't actually see that, dude, you just walk out. You gave her too much. Now you see what a strong man would do in a situation like that. Number one, I would never put myself in a situation with a woman like that. I'd find all that out early enough, like before I even would start getting serious with her or moving in with her. But at this point, all I would have said, well, if that's how you see me, then hey, that doesn't work for me. I take care of myself. I take care of half the rent here. I do my part. I don't see where the problem is. Oh, babe, there is no problem. Well, that's the way you see me, and I feel that that's very rude. I feel like I'm not your first choice, and I don't want to be someone's second or third or fourth choice. I want to be their first choice. So I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to take off and stay with my cousin, and I'll come back and get my stuff over the next few days. And then we'll figure out how I can get myself off this lease, and you can take over the lease or something like that, right? So again, he says, I told her that I'm doing great in my field, that her field pays more, but that doesn't make her better than me, and that my title is much higher than hers, that I actually manage a team of 10. Good for you, bro. You're doing your thing. You're on your purpose. You're focused, and you're going to get promoted, bro. And I can tell you one day you're going to make twice what she's making or more, even in your field, bro. Which I don't even think you mentioned it. You're an engineer, right? Sorry. In your field, bro, you can make $500,000 within the next 2 to 5 years. And her, maybe she'll go up another 50K or so, dude. You're going to surpass her. What's going to happen, dude, is once you surpass her and she sees that, she's going to try to get back with you and apologize. At that point, dude, don't even give her the time of day. She had her chance. Very superficial, dude. Very superficial. She starts going off on how computer science brings in a lot more talented people. Well, dude, now she's projecting because you called her out. She probably thought you were some, compliant beta male, right? And the fact that you stood up to her, you're being a man, dude. And she's not mad at you, bro. She's mad at herself. But it doesn't matter that she doesn't want to have this conversation because it is hurting my male ego. Well, don't let it hurt your ego. Just walk away. I got angry and told her that my ego is just fine. That being talked down to is fucked up. I agree, bro. This leads to more back and forth. And then if she wants to compare me by social standards for men, then I will compare her to societal standards for women. Good for you, dude. This is like, I wouldn't even give her the time of day to say this to her. I'd have a conversation with her, and I would listen for a little bit, half an hour at the most, because I've been with her for 8 months. And then I would just walk away. I wouldn't even feed into it at all, bro. Because all it's going to do is trigger her. And it's not worth it, bro. She's not with you for the right reasons. That she isn't a catch by any means, that does anyone, I think you wrote that wrong, really want a 30-plus-year-old girlfriend? Well, she's 32, bro, and you're 32. You're still young enough for kids and all that. But yeah, what you're saying is that, most people want someone in their 20s, right? She starts crying and insulting me more. She says that she gave me a shot and that I treat her like this. No, dude, she's flipping it on you because you called her out. She never thought, number one, she never thought you would hear her say that, or you would figure out that that's how she feels about you deep within. But you don't want to be with a woman that deep within feels like you're her backup plan or her second or third choice, when the first one that she really wanted, she couldn't get. I got even angrier after that, or after this. I just left. I don't know what to say. I'm okay with dating a woman that makes more than me. Really, I don't mind. Well, you see, technically, I wouldn't mind either. The bottom line is I wouldn't date a woman that makes more than me. And I wouldn't even want to make a woman that I make a whole hell of a lot more than either. You know why? Because then they can use you for that, right? For resources, right? The last two women I've dated made very similar money to me. It wasn't exact, it was within a few $1,000s. So honestly, I think that you guys, when you're getting to know women, you want to talk with women and you want to find out what they do, and you can kind of figure out what the income is. You can Google it. You want to find a woman that makes similar income as you. When you have a woman like this woman that makes $70,000 more a year than you, I mean, 70,000, is probably, I'd say it's not the average, income across the country. Here in the U.S., that's about 50 grand, maybe 50, 55 grand. It's on the higher end. 70 grand is on the higher end of most areas of the middle ground of income, the median income, right? Here in the Bay Area, it's on the lower end because, everything's sky high expensive here, the real estate market. But she makes $70K more per year than you, bro. And she obviously has a problem with it. And I think the problem that she has is that she's having a hard time respecting you because she's better at you than something that's always been known as the man bringing to the table as the provider. Even though she's a modern day feminist woman, like she says, okay, she still deep within doesn't respect the man that she's better as financially and other things at, right? It's hypocritical, bro. I wouldn't date this type of a woman. I wouldn't. She's going to have a hard time finding a good guy like you, bro. And she's going to try to get you back. And I wouldn't even give her the time of day, dude. So he says he doesn't mind a woman making more money than him, but I disagree with that. But I hate that she thinks she is smarter dating down being with me. That's messed up. Also, too, the reason why she thinks that, bro, is because maybe you were just too nice to her. It may not have only been the money. Maybe you were kind of acting a little more beta at times, right? So she figured that she can get away with saying that. Listen, a woman is not going to go to his sister or go to her sister and say that, I dated down because he makes less money than me, right? Especially if you make really good money. It just happens to be less than her, right? But there are probably other things that turned her off kind of too. She probably thought that you might have been a bit insecure or might have been a bit weak. The truth of the matter is you sound like a strong dude, and you confronting her and standing up there like a real man came out of left field for her. She never expected it because she didn't perceive you to be the alpha male that she wanted that, probably is making more money than her and you. It sucks, man. You got to screen out these women better initially from the very beginning. That's why I do what I do. Also, too, in our conversation, she compared me to some of her exes that had more money than me. And I can understand that if a girl is used to a guy paying for everything, it can be a bit of a change of pace. For the right woman, I don't have a problem paying most of the time, as long as she respects me and doesn't expect things. If the woman expects things, she won't get them from me. If she's cool, easygoing, and expects nothing, she'll get everything. Those are the women I've dated. That's how my ex Dana was. And there were times she wanted to pay a lot of the time. I didn't let her. And then, every now and then she would just insist that she pays because she really cared. That's the kind of woman that you want. I get that look. I wish I made enough to where I could pay the bill without blinking. I wish I could. And I hope to one day. Dude, you make 135 grand a year. I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean by that. Also, too, in our conversation, she compared me to some of her exes that had more money than me. And I can understand that if a girl is used to a guy paying, it can be a bit of a change of pace. I get that look. I wish I made enough to where I could pay the bill without blinking. I wish I could, and I hope to one day. But the catch is these guys didn't even date her. They hooked up a couple of times, and they might have taken her to a couple of fancy restaurants. They weren't official. Well, dude, it sounds like to me that you have a woman here with low integrity that just happens to make good money and have a good job. Just because a woman makes good money, has a good job, doesn't mean she's a woman of integrity. I'm sorry if this came off ranty. This fight happened yesterday. I'm still in my cousin's apartment. My girlfriend has called me a couple of times and I haven't picked up. I don't know what to do. I feel like even if she does apologize, intrinsically, she might just believe that I am inferior and she has to settle. She might just say some things to stroke my ego and that's it. Dude, this is something that is irrecoverable, meaning that her feeling that way about you, even if she apologizes deep within, she still feels that, bro. It's over, dude. You need to go and pick up your stuff. If you're on the lease over there, which sounds like you are, get off the lease, tie up all loose ends and get the hell out of there and move on. Do not give her another chance, bro. Because what's going to happen is if you give her a chance, bro, she's going to be cheating on you on the side. She's going to be cheating on you, trying to find a guy that makes more than you and that makes more than her, right? And a guy that's more dominant and stuff. Dude, stand your ground and teach her a lesson and move on and find someone that deserves you more than she does. At this point, is this relationship basically dead? Yep, 100%, dude. Get out. Is it even worth salvaging at this point? Nope. I know I said some mean things too. Well, dude, you kind of had the right to. It's not the most masculine thing to overreact like that, but I can understand why you did. You invested 8 months of your time. I believe it was 8 months. And if she was to apologize, I would as well. No, you don't owe her an apology, dude. That's the problem. That's a beta mon response. You owe her nothing. You did nothing wrong. You're just a little emotionally attached, bro, and that's why you're saying that. You got used to it. I don't want to put anyone down. Well, she's putting you down, bro. But at the same time, the thought that she was being snobbish and looking down on me for my financial situation, from my financial situation just really irks me. What do you guys suggest I do? I just told you. You did the right thing. You're staying with your cousin. Get the hell out of there. Go find your own place. Move on. Find a better woman that's more respectful and appreciates you for who you are, not because of the money you make, whether it's more than her or less than her. My girlfriend and I had a fight about money. She was talking to her younger sister about dating and basically said that she is dating down being with me because she makes more money than me. We got into a really big fight and now I'm at my cousin's apartment. All right, I don't know why you wrote that there a second time. Let me check out the chat real quick here and see what the people are saying in the chat. All right, I just had to check something out real quick. NYC is a poop hole, says Queen. Some parts are a poop hole of any city. Queen, they have some good food, though. Queen says, Holly, I never visit NYC and never. Plus Como and the other dude I won't mention are there. Okay, you're talking about politicians. Well, I understand that, Queen. LOL. All right. Let me take care of something real quick here before I read a few of these comments. Then I'm going to take another quick break and come back and go over the final 2 postings. All right. Just 1 second here. Okay. That is what my initial thought is too. Well, I don't know what this guy was responding to, that he should just go. He should just let her go. Regardless of how negative it all seems, there are some positives I'd like to remark on. You seem level-headed and open to discussions about that women's values and how they translate to everyday life and your relationship. You sat down with her, spent over 6 hours outlining the issue, and got a good overview. Well, no, he didn't get shit. He got her overreacting to the fact that he caught her in something that she didn't want him to know, right? And he sat down with her for 6 hours, which was way too long, but it's respectful that he was patient and handled it like a man. The thing is, I wouldn't have given it more than a half an hour or an hour. Okay, that 6 hours is way too long. And that actually almost puts you in desperation, needy status, right? Or you feel like she screwed you over. You feel like, yeah, she did screw you over. She did screw this guy over. But a real man, when he gets screwed over by a woman like that, is going to still be a man. It's not going to let him, it's not going to phase him. And you want to show her strength and say, you know what? I don't appreciate what you did. This is not what I signed up for. I'm not going to sit here and get mad. I'm not going to spend all night talking with you about this. But if that's how you see me, I'm going to go and stay with my cousin, and I'll be back in a few days to get my stuff, and I'm going to get myself off this lease. She may say, "Why, babe? Why? I didn't really, babe. I don't know what I was thinking." No, you knew exactly what you were thinking, or you wouldn't have said that. And this relationship is over. That's it. That's something that's irrecoverable. You cannot recover from that. At 8 months of dating, a stroke of luck brought you a candid glimpse of how she sees you and your relationship. Some people take years to discover these kind of incompatibilities in values. You can tell if a woman's really into you by how good the sex is, by how often she texts you or wants to spend time with you. You can tell if a woman's into you. This guy was just blindsided. Maybe he just, he's in his early 30s. Maybe he doesn't have a lot of experience, but he does sound like at least he knows how to stand up for himself. Maybe this was his wake-up call from turning, from being a beta male, is what I'm trying to say, to turning into an alpha male. This was a good lesson learned for him at still an early enough age, so he can now know what to look for in a future woman that he seeks. So some people take years to discover these kinds of incompatibilities and values, all while thinking it is about them and the things they have control over when it's not. You can't have a lasting good relationship with a person who can never be 100% in and always sees you as someone they settle for. That's a good point. Those are all good points. I wish you all the best and hope the next girl you end up dating is more compatible in her values. And that's exactly the way to look at it. But you now know what to look for, and you now know, you probably now know how to find out how a woman feels about you in all aspects, including financially, earlier on in the first month rather than waiting 8 months. This is the lesson he's going to learn from this. So, genius. This, you are lucky to find out she is toxic and abusive now and not later. She's not toxic and abusive. You guys are wrong, or whatever. That's a woman there. She's just very superficial, right? She's very superficial, financially and probably physically and all of that. She's looking for the top 10% man, like the Alpha Chads and the Tyrones, like I've been talking about a lot lately. I would agree some of her views are toxic but abusive. No, her views, it's not toxic. It's selfish. It's inconsiderate. It's just, it's superficial, like I've been saying. A lot of women are very superficial nowadays. That I find that out about them almost right away before even meeting them. If it's on a dating site, I can tell if they're superficial or not by asking the right questions. And I teach you guys how to ask those right questions out here on my YouTube channel and my live streams. So I really wish more people would watch this stuff and learn and apply the material. Personally, hold on a second here. Maybe a little strong. I got a sense from the argument. Maybe there's a better word. How would you classify telling a young professional architect making $135K that they aren't doing very well to justify running them down to a third party? That's true. That's a pretty good income compared to most other guys his age and most other guys this woman's going to get. This woman doesn't realize she probably just came across, this guy she had was probably the best she's going to ever get. Other guys, even if they're good looking and have all the qualities that this guy has, are probably going to be making 60, 70 grand. Then how's she going to feel about a guy making 70 grand and her making 205 grand? At least this guy's making 135K, and in a year or two as an engineer, he's going to get promoted and make 2, 3, 4, 500K. Personally, I would call it shallow and materialistic, even delusional. Those are good words. And superficial. It is shallow. It's very materialistic. And it is delusional. Yeah. But it's just very, very superficial. It just shows entitlement and being spoiled. That's what feminism has done to women. That's what it's done. I mean, this is with no disrespect. That's what it's done. Absolutely abusive. She's being verbally abusive by explicitly with her words, by explicitly with her words telling him she thinks he is worse than her, that she is blameless, and that the whole issue is his male ego. That's abuse. That's not abuse, dude. That's not abuse. That's just a very, very selfish and inconsiderate person. That's not being abusive, dude. It's not. It's entitlement. Yeah, this is just a taste at 8 months. That's true. It was going to get worse. There's appropriation of feminism and psychoanalysis from an architect no less to justify judgment, shallow, dusty standards like settling and dating down, and then to shut down your feelings. That's the red flag. Intellectualizing and justifying, dismissing original posters, experiences, and feelings as a man's ego as proof of her enlightened identity. It's really just her gassing up being a toxic brat. I don't think she's a toxic woman. I think she's very superficial and entitled. Doesn't make her toxic, okay? You guys are looking at this the wrong way, okay? She has the right to date whoever she wants to date. It just ended up being that this guy, once she found out what he made, she started to lose respect for him. She probably thought as an engineer he was making more than her, right? He could have probably told her he was making more than her and she would have believed it. But at some point, if they get married, she's going to see all those documents. And that's a lie. That's definitely a lie. That's gonna probably at least hurt, if not end the relationship at that point. Perfect response. This, and even better, as a woman making more money, I had 2 boyfriends who said they were fine with me making more money, but in the end, they were not. That's true. They're not. And ma'am, honestly, you could be a nice woman and really honestly want to believe you would be okay with a man making less money than you. And even if you were, it would be in the back of your mind that you'd have a little bit of a loss of respect for him, because women biologically look up to a man, not look down to a man, right? That's how it is. That's how it's always been biologically. And now in this day and age of feminism, where everything is equal, right? It affects what really attracts women to men. Women are attracted to men they can look up to, not look at the same level or look down at. For me, I want to be with a woman that's my equal, and I will always do whatever I can to keep it as equal as possible. But here's the thing, like I said before, I'll say it again. The man needs to be at least slightly in the one-up position over the woman, even in the modern world, or she won't respect him. Meaning that the man needs to have 50.1% control, and the woman needs to have 49.9% control. It's as close to equal as possible, with the man being slightly in the one-up position, so that way the woman can look up to him and respect him as a man, even in the modern world where women are liberated and they say everything should be equal, right? Let me check out the chat one more time here and read one more paragraph before I go on my next break here. Nothing happening over on Facebook or D Live. Mate, the fact that she judges your value by your income is fucked up enough in the first place. Sure, everyone initially judges each other by the perceived value to society they are, but that's something you judge someone by at a cocktail party, not 8 months into a relationship. For fuck's sake, how bloody shallow is this one? She is shallow. She is very shallow. She's very selfish, very superficial. Those are all great adjectives that describe her. Lots of women are like that nowadays. For her to tell her sister that in the apartment that they share, I think it's an apartment that they're sharing, That's messed up. She would never, ever say something like that to any guy she truly cared for. My guess is that she's established her worth on her income to assuage whatever inadequacies she may have in other areas. Yeah, well, it's the feminist agenda. She probably has friends that make a lot of money that are with guys that make more money than them. That there's something socially that's making her be that way. Because, besides that, she seemed to be a decent person. Because this guy, the way he stood up to her, would have not been with her if she wasn't a good woman, wasn't intimate all the time, wasn't, a good communicator. But she probably was brainwashed by her peers of other women and the men that they have, right? Pretty sad. So she's replacing her inadequacy with this fake money image, like expecting the man to pay her way when she has the money to do it herself. It's an ego boost. Fuck that noise. She wouldn't be settling for you. You would be settling for an emotionally immature and inadequate person whose entire self-worth is based on her income. Yeah, that's why I don't like when women talk about their jobs too much right away. I don't mind. I'd like to know what a woman does for a living right away and share what I do. But if a woman goes into detail, if a woman focuses most of the time when I'm first getting to know her talking about her job over anything else, it's a turnoff. Now, again, I don't mind talking about work briefly or even talking about a little bit more than briefly, but here's the thing. If more than 25% of the time that you're talking by phone or getting to know a woman initially, she's talking about her work or your work, that's just too much. Because that's not the purpose of you folks being together. The purpose is if you have an attraction for each other, if you feel a connection and you get along, you can have fun and do other activities outside of work. So that is that. Let me read one more here. I feel like she cares mostly about how society would view her relationship. She says herself she is happy. She might be more concerned with other people perceiving her as dating down than she is herself. In my opinion, she's just insecure. Nevertheless, this is a huge red flag. No, she cares about what her peers think. And her peers, have told her about the guys that they're with and probably what they make. Very counter-feminism, in my opinion. I agree. Second wave feminism taught that we shouldn't take our self-worth from the man on our arm, and that it should be perfectly fine to date and marry a man who made less because men should be success objects. Men shouldn't be success objects any more than women should be sex objects. I agree. And while in theory that sounds great, it will never be that way. Women will never ever respect the man they perceive to be better than them financially, to be, sorry, a woman will never respect a man that she's financially better off than, she's emotionally stronger than, etc. That's just the way it is. Women respect strength and they're repelled by weakness. She's seen the fact that he makes less than her, even though he makes a good amount of money. She's seen that as a weakness because of how her peers are making it appear, right? It's really, really sad. All right. Let's go back to full screen and cue up some music and take one more break before we come back and read the final two before we wrap it up. We are at 1 hour and 40 minutes. Let's see here. Just need a couple more here. And one more. All right, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for another quick break. When I get back, Am I like jittery on the screen again? What is going on tonight with this? Why does that happen sometimes? Come on, clear yourself up. I wonder if I do this. Let's do this. Let's turn off the camera. There we go. There we go. I can always reset it. Oh well. When we return, when I get back, we're going to go to the next one, Reddit, which is the men's rights subreddit. This is because nearly all women will not date men who don't make more money than them. The gender wage gap is driven by the fact that men need to make more, so a woman will date them. It is also driven by the fact that there are more men in this world. And then after that, the final one is from the Ask Reddit subreddit. Do men/women still care if they are dating and the woman makes more than the man? If you are someone who doesn't mind, is there a certain pay range difference that would start to make it uncomfortable for you? So with that being said, stick around, we'll be right back. yeah, we're back. We're back. Tried this new Rockstar Pure Zero flavor. Great. It's pretty good. Ordered a 12 pack variety pack from Amazon. It's all good. 240 milligrams of caffeine. Look at how clear that is. Whoop. Whoop. Ethan Nixel in the shadows from the YouTube audio library. Yeah, before that it was Silent Partner. Lay it down. Love Ethan Nixel. Feel it with me. Yeah, baby. The weekend's almost here. I may have hiking plans this weekend. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. It's all good. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. That's my motto. My motto. Ask Lago. I get the 7 digits from your mother for $1 tomorrow. Just kidding. That's just a, you know, that was the Eminem battle rap, right? We're not going to do Eminem. I don't think I'm ever going to do Eminem again on this channel. I think I'm totally done with those days. How's everybody doing tonight? What a beautiful, beautiful week it's been here in the San Francisco Bay Area. The weather's been great. I hope I have some hiking plans this weekend because I want to get on out there and just enjoy it. So anyway, all right, let's get right back to it. All right. Welcome back to the third and final segment of Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Live here on the Coach Eli Television Network, primarily broadcasting live on YouTube at youtube.com/LifeCoachEli. That's youtube.com/LifeCoachEli. If you're on Facebook and D Live and you want to get the absolute best quality and the most engagement and other content besides the live streams that I simulcast on the other platforms, come over to YouTube. But yes, we're also simulcasting live on Facebook and D Live for those that aren't too familiar or fond of YouTube. I mean, who isn't familiar with YouTube? But some people have their preference, so I just like to give people more options. Tonight, we've been discussing, can women actually respect men that make less money than they do? One more time. Can women actually respect men that make less money than they do? And during the first segment, I did my monologue, shared my thoughts about that. I then shared a story regarding a woman that I'm not going to be meeting, and it kind of related to the topic. During the second half, I read a Reddit article that I found out about through another content creator out here on the YouTube side of things named Strong Successful Male. He actually made content off of this earlier today, and I wanted to share. It's regarding how a 32-year-old male that was with a woman for 8 months, a 32-year-old female, where he makes $135,000 a year, and when he told her how much he makes after she asked him, she said she made $205,000, and basically then he overheard her talking to her 27-year-old sister in the place that they apparently share together, and said that she dated down. She basically put this guy down because he wasn't making the same money as she was, even though this guy's making more than the average guy makes at that age. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It is what it is. Anyway, let's get back to the final two Reddit postings here before we wrap things up. Let's switch back over to the browser source. And this is from the subreddit, Men's Rights. And the poster posted this. This is because nearly all women will not date men who don't make more money than them. The gender wage gap is driven by the fact that men need to make more so a woman will date them. Give me a second here. It is also driven by the fact that there are more men in this world. Let's see. If men, I guess this was a shared posting from the subreddit Science. In men, higher wages predicted a higher proportion of being married, whereas in women, higher wages were associated with a lower proportion of being married. That's because women look up to a man for what they bring to the table, who they are as a man, how successful they are. If a woman is better than a man financially, better off than a man financially, or stronger than a man emotionally, that turns off women. No matter what they say regarding living in an equal world of equal rights, which is fine, in a relationship, a woman has a lack of respect for a man that she perceives is not as good as her or better than her at certain things. Even though women say we want equal rights and we want it to be this way, right? It just affects, respect in the relationship. And that's the main issue we have nowadays. Let's go to the comments. Do not go to the cross-posted sub and vote or comment. Brigading and vote manipulation are against Reddit's rules. Okay, I don't even know why I read that. It's not just dating. It's more insidious than that. Men need to earn because society won't provide men benefits they can't pay for. True, men are utility. Men are expendable. Only successful men matter. Well, that's what the modern world has made it appear to be. But it doesn't have to be that way, guys. It doesn't have to be that way if you don't let it be that way. And that's why when you're meeting women nowadays, you have to better qualify them. And you have to have, phone conversations and stuff like that. And you go on a few dates and you ask questions and you see how they are. It's better to learn as much about each other in the first few dates as possible, or even when you're talking by phone before you meet, if you're using online dating, because you want to get a feel if this woman is with you for who you are, or if it's for money or other reasons, right? If a woman comes off way too superficial for me, I'll just eliminate her off the bat. Society is hypergamous. Well, women are hypergamous. Men are not hypergamous. Men are willing to settle. Women expect to marry up. That's true. The more we disadvantage males in education and the more we pay women just for being women, the harder it becomes to sustain hypergamy. The more we advantage women and disadvantage men, the less men can support women, which raises problems for successful women who want an even more successful man to provide for them. Dude, I could not have said that better myself because it sounds confusing. But yeah, that's what seems to be happening nowadays. It seems like the system or society, the culture in our society nowadays, the social stigma is saying, it's time for women to rise up, and it's not all about just men anymore. Women have a say now as well, too. Nothing wrong with that. The problem is when women start to surpass men, and they still want to date men, and most of the men, have far fewer things to bring to the table, such as salary and other things, right? When women surpass men, there aren't any men available that they're going to respect, right? It just creates a whole world of just craziness. How can we notably advantage women yet still expect men to support women? It is definitely a conundrum. It is also driven by the fact that women just don't ask for raises or negotiate starting salaries anywhere near as much as men do. A lot of women do nowadays, but it's still a more masculine thing. I've always thought it was almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not going to ask for more money. And when Steve does and I find out, I'm going to whine about the company being sexist. Right. Well, when women don't get their ways, they try to take advantage of a loophole, right? Like, it almost seems like if a woman goes to the human resources department and say that she's being sexually harassed, even if she isn't, they'll still suspend that guy and possibly fire him just to alleviate her, from going off on the subject, right? Whereas if a man goes and says, I'm being sexually harassed, they pretty much do nothing, right? I've heard about that. Jordan Peterson has talked about this before and related this behavior, the women's agreeability, which makes them less likely to seek our competitive wages or jobs. It is an interesting subject. It certainly is an interesting subject. I'm not too fond of Jordan Peterson, to be honest with you. I don't think a lot of the things he does come from his heart. I think a lot of the things that he says and does are to get attention, ratings, and make money. So that's my opinion. I talked about Jordan Peterson, shared one of his postings, last week in one of my streams. When you control for job position, the wage gap almost disappears. There is no wage gap in the first place. That's a thing that women complain about when they're not qualified to get those jobs that they want to get, right? If women work hard and they qualify for a job in the same way a man does, they'll get that job, get paid the same as the man does. That's the bottom line. The rest is just whining and complaining because some women just want things handed to them. And it's never been that way for men. So if men always had to earn things, right, why do women feel they can be handed things, right? Just because of feminism, right? The global average job-for-job wage gap, same position at the same company, is like 2.5% or something. That's pretty low. And the reason why it's like that is because most women do qualify for most jobs that men do. Some of them don't, which is probably where that 2.5% comes from. That's a pretty low wage gap. This includes places like Saudi Arabia. The UK, it's like 0.9%. So men and women are practically equal there with their qualifications and pay. And it was suggested in the study that these differences could be accounted for by differences in unpaid time off, which they couldn't keep track of very well for some reason. If there's even a 1/10 of a 1% wage gap for women, or 1/100th, which is minute, they'll still find something to complain about, right? Now, why men and women apply for jobs that statistically pay different is a different question altogether. Okay, well, it depends on what they enjoy doing and what their field pays. But there's literally no evidence that women are paid less for the same work in the same position as men. They're not. They're either qualified for the job and they get paid the same, or they don't get the job because they're not qualified, just like men don't get jobs they're not qualified for. I don't understand why people make a big deal out of this. I've talked about this so many times in the past. I've said it again. People just like to whine and complain. That's all. And women are emotional beings, so it's more apparent when they do it. But there's literally no evidence that women are paid less for the same work in the same position as men, meaning salary negotiation likely isn't much of a factor, or if it is possible that might account for part of the 2.5% difference they found, along with women going off payroll for extended vacations more often than men. Okay. Let me check out the chat real quick here. All right, nothing happening in the chat on YouTube, nothing on Facebook, nothing on the live. Let's continue. I really think it has more to do with the pressure on men to do better than women in general. It's always been like that for men. There's nothing different for men here. Men have always worked and made good money and provided. It's just now you're adding women into the mix since they were liberated, and they're working now instead of being homemakers. I've read that even in relationships where spouses are making the same amount of money, it stresses out the woman because taking care of and creating children is a heavy burden to her, so she feels the man should have to pay for more things. I've personally only ever seen a marriage work where the man was making more than the woman, or he was at least making a pretty high salary if she was making more. My ex Dana made similar money as I did, and I paid most of the time because I wanted to. It makes me feel more of a man. And it didn't affect us one bit. And she had 2 teenage daughters, and she was willing to pay more often. It just depends on the woman and the man that you're with. It depends how you're raised, and it depends if you allow the social stigma to get to you or not. Also, there's 72.5 million more men in this world than women. There's bound to be more successful men with that kind of an advantage. I wouldn't look at, the fact that there are more men in this world an advantage. I look at it as a disadvantage because there are few women for those men, right? There are already fewer decent women to date nowadays that aren't superficial, let alone being fewer women than men. That means there are 72.5 million men that will never be with a woman or, never settle down with a woman, When there are more men than women by that amount, a lot of people are going to be lonely and single. It's going to be more difficult for men to find a good woman. And for women to find a good man, too. Well, no, for women, it's the other way around because they have more options. Sorry, I said it the wrong way. In relationships where men and women make the same amount of money, men do more of the housework and child rearing than women do by about an hour a day. Like with my ex, Dana, when I'd spend time with her at her place on the weekends. I wanted to help. I enjoyed helping. Together, we did everything equally. We made similar money, and it all worked out. The reason why it didn't end up working out had nothing to do with money or anything like that. It had to do with some other stupid things. Like how I was handling myself on YouTube at that point and other stupid stuff like that. In fact, men typically do more total combined paid and unpaid work than women do, regardless of what the split looks like. That's because men just enjoy fixing things. And women, I'm not saying some women don't enjoy fixing things, but even the women that do enjoy fixing things, like my ex Dana, once again, used to enjoy fixing things with me. She didn't enjoy it as much as I did. And she rather would prefer to go hiking and go on weekend getaways and just spend quality time together, like romantic time. Pregnancy and nursing can't be shared by the father, but men more than make up for things in relationships. I think this trade-off is mostly forced onto men by women because, let's face it, women benefit from it at the expense of men. They'll benefit from it at the expense of men if us men allow them to benefit from it. And as long as there are thirsty beta mons, the women will benefit from the beta mons until they realize that they're not manly enough for them. And, they get dumped. The beta males get dumped. And then women are right back to square one again, wondering where are all the good men at, right? And why aren't they getting the good men? They really need the benefits of it, though, and I agree completely. Thanks for the solid article. Women, after giving birth, need a man to do a little more than she does, at least until that baby's not a baby anymore. Women have more emotional needs, and they're more susceptible to postpartum depression raising a child. That is true, and most decent men are willing to step up during that time. Most decent men that really love their woman and feel their woman loves them for real are going to do everything for that woman, and vice versa. There has to be a real connection there. There has to be respect between both sides, regardless of how much money each other makes and other stuff. Respect has to be there. All right, that's where I'm going to stop on this one here. Let's go over to the next one here. This is from the subreddit Ask Reddit. And let me check out the chat real quick. Information Man, I'm doing okay. Information Man once again says, I'm back. Queen, how are you? Cool. Welcome back, Information Man Show. We are at 2 hours and 9 minutes. We're going to be wrapping this up in about 10 or 15 minutes, folks, once I get through this posting here. So get your questions, comments, concerns in the chat right now. All right. Do men/women still care if they are dating and the woman makes more money than the man? If you are someone who doesn't mind, is there a certain pay range difference that would start to make it uncomfortable for you? My thoughts is this. I'm being honest here. I'm a very secure and independent man. And I don't let things phase me. But I will be honest with you. I will not date a woman that makes a significant amount of money more than me. And they probably wouldn't date me. That's just the way it is. But I personally would prefer to date a woman that makes similar money. It's not easy to find out. I mean, that's why you talk to a lot of women and you can kind of tell what they make once you ask them what they do, right? You can also tell by how they communicate and how often they communicate, and do they initiate communication with you first if they're really into you, and make a better decision of who you want to be with and who you feel is going to be genuine with you, right? Despite, what each of you makes for a living, right? But yeah, I'll be honest with you. Even if there was a woman that made twice what I make and she wanted to be with me, it would be an uncomfortable feeling for me. As a man, I want to feel like I'm the provider. As a man, I want to feel like I can bail her out if she needs help, right? And nowadays, you can't even, nowadays, if you bail out some women, you're bailing them out for the wrong reasons because maybe they really weren't with you or into you for the right reasons in the first place. So let's go and read the comments here. Nope, if our finances aren't combined, their finances are their thing. If we do combine finances, them making more is a bonus. Okay. That's a woman, I believe, with her opinion. When my wife and I started dating, there was and still is a huge difference, and we knew it. I wasn't coming close to her amount and didn't need to. If it happened to work out, then bless you. As long as you both can afford to do the activities you share in common, no concern. If you're a broke chick and your guy wants to do everything under the moon, it is expected he pays. If you're a broke dude and your lady wants to do everything under the sun, it is expected you pay. Or 90% of the time, she finds someone who will. Yeah, I get what you're saying by that, and I agree with that. I just don't like how you wrote it in a very angry way. This is a woman, I believe, that wrote this. Nope, if you're truly partners like you should be encouraging and supporting your partner towards their dreams. Okay, I agree. That's true. Still, I feel that if the woman makes a significant amount of money more than the man, it's going to make them both feel weird. Even in the modern world where things are supposed to be technically equal. I don't care that my wife makes more than I do. I wish she made more. I'd make a damn good housewife. Oh my God, dude. My wife has always made more money than me. Okay. I'm not going to read what that person wrote. No, we do what we do and mostly keep finances separate. They supported me through some college and through grad school. Now I make more than them. It works out perfectly for us. We've gotten occasionally some weird comments about it, though. Okay, well, if it works for you folks, that's fine. But typically, it's gonna feel weird. I don't care if she would be making more or less, as long as she's working and able to take care of herself. If you're married with somebody, why would you not combine your income? You would only not combine your income as if you were fearing divorce and you really didn't love the person, right? My parents combined everything when they got married, and it was always that way. But in the modern world, I can understand it because people are very superficial, and it's hard to trust people nowadays. It's hard. It's really hard for us guys, especially speaking from the guy's perspective. It's really difficult to trust a woman's going to be loyal and faithful. If you're making a lot more money than her, that she's not going to marry you and stick around for 10 years and then divorce you shortly after that 10-year anniversary and take half your assets. Hell no. It wouldn't be tight as fuck if my wife made more money than me. Most of the guys I work with, engineers and project managers, make decent money and are thrilled when their wives finish school and make more money than them. Huh. One PA, one DDS, and one MBA so far this year for the wives of my coworkers. Well, congratulations. You engineers and project managers are typically more beta males. That's more like of an industry that has a lot of beta males that are more introverted than extroverted. Well, that's how you feel. Try it out and see what happens. But if you end up in divorce after 10 years, then so be it. But if she's making more money than you end up in divorce, then you're getting half her assets. So it's really not even a risk. But even if it's not a risk, do you really want to be with someone that's not with you, that's not with you for the right reasons? My sister doesn't care that she makes more than her husband, but my mom sure does. They're doing pretty well for themselves, but that doesn't stop her from suggesting he get a second job. She absolutely is the MIL that gives MILs a bad name. What is MIL? Let me see. Mother-in-laws. These kids nowadays, they speak in acronyms, and Jesus Christ. MIL is mother-in-law. All right. I should hope not. My mom has been making more than my stepdad for years, and since they are married with children, it is a beneficial thing for everyone. If it works, it works. But it typically doesn't end up working. And there's always going to be something else wrong. When the woman is the breadwinner and she's the leader, she's exuding more masculine energy as a woman, and you as a man are more than likely exuding more feminine energy. The sexual polarity is flipped. I bet those relationships where the woman is wearing the pants and making more money, it's a sexless marriage or relationship, and it's just not going to work out in the end. Trust me. Not always, although I do believe there's a lot of truth in the whole more money, more problems, right, thing. The more money my date made, the more high-strung they seemed to be when trying to maintain the lifestyle they were accustomed. Well, that's if you aren't able to budget yourself and control yourself. Because a lot of people, once they start making more money, they start buying lavish things and taking more lavish vacations, and it's something that's going to spiral them, to probably lose it all at some point. I love a sugar mama, says this dude. Come on. No, you don't. I don't care as long as we're doing fine financially and we're not breaking the law. I don't care who makes what. That's a woman saying that. Said papaya. Okay. Bisexual man here. I don't mind if a guy or a girl pay the date bill. Last week I dated a girl that I paid the restaurant bill and I requested the Uber for my place. She paid much more than I did that night. We're still talking and got our second date this week. So no, it's ever better get a nice date and don't need to spend money. Well, okay, some women are cool with that, but for me, it makes me feel it makes me feel more of a man to take a woman out to pay and to basically show her a good time. That's what makes me feel like a man. I don't care at all. At least I think for now. Let's say later in life with said person, they ended up making like $100K, but you only brought in $40K a year. Then maybe I would be nervous. Not mad or upset, like a fear factor that if things went south, how much of your life would truly change. But if it's a 10, 20, 30K difference, then I probably won't care at all. When my brother, I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again, it's been a while. When my brother was married to his wife, they dated for 8 years first. And he helped her get into the job she got into. She kept getting promotions and ended up making twice what my brother was making. And then she ended up cheating on him on a business trip. So think about it. Just think about it. My family's experienced this in real life. My brother's ex-wife, when they were dating before they got married, was a really cool lady and really enjoyed spending time with my brother and was really a great sister-in-law. But because she surpassed my brother, she lost respect for him, and she probably lost some sexual attraction to the point of where she had to get it elsewhere on a business trip. It's pretty sad. I wouldn't care. I'd just be happy to have someone who's interested in me. Well, that's a different problem. You know, you gotta see yourself as an interesting person. You gotta love yourself first before anyone else can love you. That's your problem there. My partner needs to make at least about the same as I do because otherwise we'll be super poor. But I have no problem with a disparity as long as either income is enough to live on. Okay, I can understand that because this woman here is basically saying my partner needs to make at least about the same as I do. Right. I can get that. That's a fair woman. So I'm going to wrap it up there, folks. Interesting show regarding men and women. Can women actually respect men that make less money than they do? Bottom line is this. Ladies and guys, you can argue this all you want. The truth of the matter is, in any world, even in the modern world, where women are liberated and they want equality and all that, right? Truth of the matter is, when it comes to relationships outside of a man and woman being independent and working even before they get together, the truth of the matter is when it comes to relationships, women respect a man that makes more money than her and is emotionally stronger than her. If a woman perceives you to be emotionally weaker than her, or you make less money than her, then she has that feeling like she's looking down at you, right? Especially nowadays because women have risen up and they're stronger, right? Right? Back in the days of traditionalism, this was a must because women weren't working. Guys had to have their shit together, make good money, and be emotionally strong. Nowadays, the confusion is this whole equality thing, independent of dating relationships. But when you get in dating relationships, if you look at it from an equality standpoint in that aspect, the relationship will never work because of the way women are biologically programmed. And women are biologically programmed to be hypergamous, meaning they seek up to find the strongest male. And if you are weak in any areas, they're going to replace you with somebody else. And they're probably going to cheat on you with someone while they're with you until that pans out. And once that pans out, they're going to leave you out of the blue. While that's happening, they were already working through releasing the emotional attachment. And then, like I said, when that other person that they cheated on you with is ready to move forward, they'll just leave you like that. They will have removed the emotional attachment by that point, and now you're going to feel the emotional attachment and feel hurt, and it's going to suck. So guys and gals, especially you guys out there, better qualify your prospects from the very beginning, and you'll have the best chance of not having to deal with some of these people I've dealt with, especially the first Reddit posting I read with the 32-year-old male that makes $135K a year. And when his girlfriend found out that, he's making that and she's making $205K, that she called her sister and said to her sister that I dated down, I pretty much settled. I dated down. And then she said that while they were in their place and he overheard her saying that. Come on. Anyway. All right, folks, we are at 2 hours and 23 minutes. I'm going to get on out of here, enjoy the rest of the night, have some phone calls to make, some things to do, but I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you to American Dream once again for the $10 super chat. Thank you to Queen Helen Casey. Thank you to Holly, Hopeful, and Blessed. Thank you to Information Man Show. Let me see here. Let me see here. Xavier Renard Rouge. Okay. Sir, how did you find out about this channel? Women can respect a man that makes less more. So if they haven't embezzled money from a company from a family friend, like the gray man below. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, thank you for stopping by. With that being said, have yourselves a great night. I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Bye.